This movie's good.
I was
All right, let's talk
fuck
about
the patriarchy.
Let's talk about Timu Charles Dickens.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, I think I'm in the minority. I liked this less than the other movie.
Wow.
Oh, I
wow.
absolutely like this less than the other
But
movie.
I was
Wow.
on board with the theme and the message 100%. Like
What this filmmaking is so much more sophisticated than
I
the
know.
other.
Yeah.
The storytelling's better. Is basically.
All right, let's talk about
also 20
the
years
elephant.
later.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The goddamn fucking music.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah,
movie.
it's terrible.
Yeah,
I'll give you
it's
that.
like-
I'll give you that, Tad. And
It-
this movie, I had to do a 180 on because the beginning is so oppressive with the score just slamming you
Oh
with,
my
"Hey, it's
you-
comedy!
God.
It's comedy! It's
if you
comedy!"
if you turn your head away from this movie, it sounds like an early Disney film.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even say Disney. It sounds like fucking Looney Tunes. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying
like
attention.
Disney always had great music. Like
I just mean
this is
cartoonish. I just meant like
It's
cartoon.
it's overbearing.
punching you in the face.
I
Yeah.
can't recollect. I can't recollect the sound of music at all. I was too involved in what's behind Chris.
And meanwhile,
this thing-
that
this
was
thing-
much later, though,
No, the
Scott.
thing is, no, I'm just
This is
talking
a
in
good
general.
shot. I wish-
This film looked amazing.
It looks
it's
great.
a really
Yeah,
good looking
and it's
movie.
really it's just beautifully photographed, and the sets were great. And
Also, the fucking language is amazing.
well, Salford.
Mhm.
It's outside of Manchester.
But even
Right, it's supposed to take place in
yeah,
Maine.
not,
Oh,
not
subtitles
only,
went on immediately.
not only their
Jim,
accents,
it takes place
but-
what? Jim?
Outside of Manchester.
In around Manchester, so it's
In Salford,
a
yeah.
different
But
part
even
of England than
on
we're
top of
used
the
to.
accents being
Yeah, yeah.
wonderful, but I'm talking about even the dialogue or the
dialogue
actual
you're
the
talking
dialogue, like the word choice, the writing.
The weird
It's
little
all really
phrases that
great.
were like
I had the subtitles on for most of it, and there's some real turns of phrase in it.
Yeah.
that I'm kind of glad I had the subtitles on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of an
yeah.
accident, but it was like, oh,
No, can't do it.
No, I tried. It's like no, turn them on.
I never have them. I never have them on.
I mean,
I just take it.
My favorite two things this movie was just getting to see Prunella Scales.
Yeah.
It's like I've known her as Mrs. Faulty forever.
Sybil Faulty.
Sybil Faulty. But
Sybil.
I thought the transformation that this character goes
Oh,
that
And
that
you
was
recognize
the thing
him
that
from
kept
The
me-
Hill, right?
Well, that was the thing.
Oh,
that kept
wow.
me-
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I
did
thought
not
he looked
recognize him.
familiar.
Yeah.
oh, shit!
Like
The Hill
the
is
Lot-
great.
the
He
Lot
is
character
great in
such a
this.
He
grotesque
goes,
so
he
good.
really owns that nerd at the beginning, the timid little guy.
Yes, he
That's
climbs
that's
the
it, Jim.
way-
It's the transformation. It's like he plays a meek guy,
Yeah.
kind of dumb guy, really well. But you just see him sort of come into his own,
Well,
and
he's
he
not.
transforms.
He's not dumb.
No.
He's uneducated.
He's just simple.
He's uneducated.
Well, he's not
and-
confident.
But he's extremely talented. That's one thing I liked about it. the whole thing.
Right. She
Yeah.
teaches him confidence and then also how to read and write and all of that
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and what that allows him to do is pretend. Because he's not actually that guy. Because in the final scene where he's talking to her, he's immediately back to his
Dude.
old persona. of-
Close to it, but he's definitely evolved. You know what I mean? He's like, I was saying things
Yeah.
that I had never imagined I would say.
Right.
Right,
love
but
how,
that's
like,
a-
every
that's a
sentence-
persona.
Every sentence he ends it like it's a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes it- he
But it's so
looks up,
charming. It's so like
Yep.
you know.
But I
I
love
think
the
she-
introduction of his character and the other guy who works in the basement. That you don't know what's going to happen when he like opens up that trap
I
door.
know.
And it's like, what the fuck? What new horror is this?
Yeah, pretty
What
much.
new horror is this? Is Dickensian England of people
Right.
being
Yeah.
locked in the basement making shoes.
That's
the fuck
I just
is
thought
it-
about while I was watching this.
knee deep in.
And isn't that satisfying?
Well, I was
with
like,
a
who can
burning
work?
propane lamp, which is
Yeah.
probably giving them carbon monoxide poison.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like-
And not a fire hazard at all.
No, just a
Oh, I love when he's putting
Just
his
an
fucking
open
paper.
flame.
just a naked
I love when
flame sticking out
I
of the
love when he's
wall.
Putting his paper clothing
Yes.
on the
Next
shelf
to
Yeah.
the,
next to the naked flame.
I also
You
thought
better
about
turn that
how
off or your
how the
whole
fuck
fucking
could you
place is-
work hearing just people walking all day above you?
above you
all
yes.
day.
They have basements
Just
like
clock,
that in
clock,
San
clock,
Francisco
clock.
with the glass tiles on them. It's like it's really
Right.
strange, but you know,
Because you
it's-
see that with the other place where when he falls down the open
yeah,
Yes.
the freight door.
Grain
the freight
elevator?
door.
The sort of surrealist interlude that we
Yeah,
have.
that's very, yes, that was
He
well,
comes out of the bar.
But the
it looked like he was
lighting-
grabbing his junk and pulled himself up
Uh-huh.
and flips.
Yeah, Lawton is very like
He was
agile
not
for how
above
fat
doing
he is.
some,
Yeah,
like,
But I found this this is to me it was just a caricature. Like, oh god, I've seen this fucking character too many
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
and-
yeah, you know,
the
Chris, I felt the
interesting
same
part
way about him, and that's like
It's John Mills and the daughter.
it's John Mills and the daughter.
After Nellie.
Brenda
Yeah.
Brenda
That's
DeBancy
completely
Brenda DeBancy is the
100%.
breakout. Brenda DeBancy is the breakout from this. Like her character, her characterization, her acting
Is that Maggie?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
is
she's a goddamn fucking
spectacular.
yeah.
she's great.
bull.
Yeah.
She's
great.
a bull, dude.
It's also
Yeah.
another film that, like the last one, talks about how rigid the British society is.
Mhm.
And this
Yeah.
one,
Oh,
this
yeah.
the fight to get from being like a menial bootmaker up to running your own shop, even though it isn't like trying to become Earl or like a king. It's like it's just as hard.
Yeah.
You know that the
Well,
lot
the working classes are just as stratified.
yeah, Hobson is just
Right.
is it petit bourgeois or what do you call it? They're in the middle there somewhere.
Yeah.
Successful businessman and
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Well, Hobson is nouveau
Yeah,
riche.
because
Yeah.
he bows down to the rich lady who wants her
Yeah.
boots.
That's
from
right.
him.
That's right.
Oh,
So,
sure.
yeah.
He's a small business tyrant. He is
Yeah.
your standard small business tyrant.
Yeah.
Like
This is the guy who runs a tire shop at the edge of town, like a bunch of employees. He
And-
used to yell at
And
every day.
the bar scenes are so funny with all his chums.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah,
They're laughing right along with him until they turn on him. You know what
yeah
I mean?
exactly.
So funny. He's
well,
trying to
he
put a good
turns- he
spin.
he turns on them.
He turns
Yeah.
on.
He
Well, he
turns
turns
on
on.
them,
he
and
does-
they just return the favor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, going back to what Tad said about this being Dickensian, which
Yes.
Timu Dickens. I mean, the beginning of it put me off because A, the horrible music, and
Oh my
B,
god.
it was a lot of stuff of Charles Lawton coming home drunk, which was just not funny to me. It was
Correct.
just like
No.
gross and
It
disgusting
gets a little
and
old after a while.
off-putting.
Most of
like,
his
it's not
character
funny.
None of this bothered me.
And
most
okay,
of his
but
character is
asshole.
gross.
It bothered
Most
me.
Of his character is gross.
it's
like-
yeah, it bothered. Yeah, here's the thing, Tad, and this is
You're-
why I'm making the Dickens connection. Is I figured it out. It's like, oh, this is like a Christmas Carol,
It
but
is like
instead
a
of him.
Christmas Carol.
And instead of him like learning his lesson, he's just going to get his comeuppance, but it's still going to be satisfying
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah,
think
but
he
the
learns
thing-
his lesson.
Yeah.
But the thing
No, not
about
really.
Scrooge, the thing about Scrooge, when Scrooge is well played in a version of it, is Scrooge is sad.
Mhm.
Like Scrooge is a sad character who you're kind of rooting for the entire time. I'm never rooting for Hobson.
Right?
He's a
You.
piece of shit, top
Yes.
to bottom.
He is a shit.
He is unrepentant about it.
He's an entitled, sexist,
Mhm.
drunk
Asshole.
asshole.
And
Yeah.
at the end, he's a terrified
yeah.
little guy.
By the
because
way,
But and
I
he
love
doesn't
that.
learn his. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't learn his lesson. He just gets his comeuppance, and that's the fun of
Maybe-
it.
But you
feel
also have to think about
sympathy-
the society and the time. I mean, I'm not disagreeing, but it's not like tons of other men probably weren't acting that same way. I'm just saying.
Yes, they were. They're all of his friends.
That's what I'm fucking
Yeah.
saying. They were. So he's not in particularly horrible, maybe because he has the shop, but I'm just saying, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but like there are a lot of people
Yeah,
were.
I mean,
and-
but he
Making
treats
me
his
feel
daughters like crap.
Yeah, he really
Making me
does.
feel
No, it's just free
sympathy-
labor, yeah.
Making me feel sympathy for the temperance movement people
Mm.
is very difficult, and
Yeah.
this movie does it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie comes to life when the daughter, what's her name, Maggie,
Maggie.
Maggie.
when she takes charge basically of the situation and the film.
Yeah.
Then this movie, I leaned in and I never leaned back again.
Yes.
It was just like, okay, this is what this movie's about.
Yeah.
I-
There's a-
I-
when it turns into an episode of Matlock, and you realize that she figured the whole thing out and is now about to set up the dominoes.
Yeah.
to fall
Right.
on
She
this
had
guy.
she had to be dreaming about something when she was doing the fucking books every day
Yeah, right.
and cooking their meals.
And you know,
Right.
this is also addresses a few of the things of the time, like the whole idea about
Yeah.
doing settlements. You know, it's basically
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that was a huge
The
part of the first
it's a dowry.
A dowry,
Dowry is
yeah.
a-
the dowry.
yeah.
They gave a nice polite name, settlements, but it's a dowry. And the thing is, that's a big important thing that motivated him to not let his daughters marry off or marry the right, or him being in control of all that stuff. And also temperance was a big thing back then too. and that was like
Yeah.
another. It was a minor thing in there. His alcoholism was.
But he does go through the DTs and he dries out.
Yeah, he does. It's like it's interesting. It's like so there went
The other surrealist moment in this very
Also,
pretty
the
straightforward
doctor-
movie.
The doctor really, I've never seen a scene where a doctor is like really that blunt. It's like,
Yeah,
The
you are like an
doctor-
alcoholic.
The doctor
Dead.
going to
plays-
die. Yeah.
The doctor
It's
who
been-
plays
obviously-
Private Frazier in Dad's Army, which was
Yeah.
a very weird thing for me to see,
Mhm.
because it was just like, oh, it's you. Like,
Is he
that's-
one of the old guys in the Home Guard?
No, he's Private Frazier. Well, he's older, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Well, there's one
yeah.
guy who fought like with Kitchener in the, not Boer War, but the Sudan.
I feel like we've all seen this character that he's playing here,
Yeah.
but Lawton does it really well.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like I totally buy it.
I just like that.
I'll tell you, my money's on John Mills. I mean, that's to me.
I think
He's the standout performance in this thing.
plugging a good director, and I think made all the difference because the film always moved. It flowed.
Yeah.
There was no.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
there were no sticks or anything like that.
I'll
It
give
just-
you that. I think
yeah.
it moved better than it looked. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah. It looked great. It moved well. It was never short storytelling. Just
Okay.
I don't think it
always-
looked great. I don't think it looked great, and I
don't
think
think it
there's a
looked
couple of times. I think there's a couple of times where they actually like really break. Like there's there's a scene where I think it's the one towards the end where they're rushing into his room after he drops the carafe of water,
right.
and the camera flies through the wall.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just-
Yeah, I saw remember that. Yeah.
and it's just like, wait, why did you do that?
Yeah, I
Like-
laughed. I laughed out loud.
Right.
No, I
it-
see
it
that
just-
movies once in a while. It's always jarring.
Yeah.
Right.
The
it
camera
just
going through a
doesn't-
wall. It's like.
Mhm.
It doesn't, because it's not like
They
not
did
like
it in
this.
I Love Lucy all the time.
No, the camera doesn't. In I Love Lucy, the camera does not move through the wall.
They,
It
does.
they switched to 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Right. It's a
Yeah.
3-camera shoot.
Yeah.
The thing about that pan through the wall is it just immediately is like, oh, you couldn't set up 2 setups for this. You had to follow the one setup for it.
Mhm.
And it's just like, why? And if I start thinking that about the movie, you mess something up along
In other words,
the way.
it knocked you out of the film.
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like a more stylized movie like the weird porn that Jared picked a little while ago, where the camera just like flies over the ceiling
Oh
and whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Enter the void.
Like or like Fincher in Panic Room, like moving up and down through the house where you feel the camera has become disconnected. Like it's just there's a wall here, and
Yeah,
it's
but
just like
but I think overall by the way, this Criterion, it just looked the transfers.
Yeah, the black and white
Pretty
is
stunning.
really
the
nice.
BF
But I think for the world of this movie, which is not a huge world, it's a very small. It's a play, I
Like
think. So
David
it was
Lean
like
standards, this is claustrophobic.
It is-
exactly.
well, this
But
film
it's
is called.
still, but it still has attention to incredible detail in the sets and in the textures and in the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you,
I think
a camera move I did appreciate was when Will, on his wedding night, finally stops stalling, which is a hilarious bit
Uh-huh.
because he's just trying not to go into the bedroom.
Yeah.
And then he finally gives up and goes into the bedroom. And then the door shuts. And then the camera just pulls back.
Right.
It shows you their little basement
House.
shop,
Yeah.
shop/house. Yeah.
I think
the basement
beautiful.
set. The basement set is spectacular.
Yeah, it's really
The
good.
basement set is spectacular.
Yeah, it is. It's really
Like
nice.
everywhere you look around that room and wherever they are in it, wherever the geometry is, it
There's
looks
something.
Although
great.
that also with the rest of the film also is it's really busy. I guess it's a Victorian thing,
It's
but
very
there's,
busy.
But there's shit everywhere. You're outside too because there's cobblestones and crenellated shit
Yeah.
on buildings.
And
Yeah.
also,
It's
we're
like-
just going to throw a million leaves in front of
Yeah,
a fan.
exactly. So
Oh, how about the shot with the flyers all blowing down the street?
yeah, I know. It's just
Yeah.
it's insane. That was so
Yeah.
much fun. But, yeah.
He's really a visual storyteller. He's good
Yeah,
that
yes.
way.
Yeah, and this is like the opposite. Have you ever seen Ryan's Daughter? It's like it's set in an Irish village, and it's like the same interior thing, but there's nothing on the walls. All
Uh,
the pubs are empty. There's a
Well, that's
couple people.
Ireland.
Yeah, it's Ireland. It's a whole different feel that
That's because the British took it all home.
I guess.
Right.
And it was also set roughly the same era
we
too.
used to have shit except the fucking British took it.
Yeah, they took
And then they put it up in their houses and made this movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's all stuffed
They
in
gave it
there.
to
Yeah,
Hobson.
exactly. Mhm.
and by the way, the thing behind Chris, what a scene!
Well, that
He's
was
chasing the moon. He's
that's
chasing the
only time I
moon
was
through
like,
the puddles.
Oh, this is the guy that made Lawrence of Arabia. This
Yeah.
That must have
Yeah.
been a trick to do too. You had to put a little light source up there and just.
Well, I was gonna say even his
Perfect.
fall, they put the moon and it stayed and
It's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
there. Yeah, when he
Yeah.
goes down the chute.
it was
That
really
was really
cool.
something.
And boy, wasn't it lucky for Maggie that he fell down that chute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That fixed the whole ending of the movie.
He got sued for it, which is really weird.
Well, I don't think it's. I
Well,
don't think
no,
it's
she
luck-
like figured it out the whole suit.
right.
Yeah.
And it's not lucky for her. That's her seeing something happening
She
and
sees
be-
an opportunity. Yeah.
Seeing
and
the
just
opportunity.
immediately putting like teaming it together
Yeah.
over the
No shit.
over the next because he's like, oh, he's going to be asleep until at least noon. So
Right.
I've got plenty of
Well,
time.
and she had all it set up because the one guy's a lawyer.
Mhm.
You know, it was like perfectly
Yeah.
like all the dominoes falling.
Right.
Yep.
right.
Yep.
That was beautiful.
She's able to just and again such a great performance from her of like the whole scene where her dad comes over and how she keeps playing her dad off of everyone else in the scene
Mhm.
like that's good writing, I will
Yeah.
say is
And
like
she's-
I
Yeah, she's owning that character in a way that like it's so authentic. It's so you believe every second of it. Just how stern she is. I mean, she's you know, you can't
I mean,
mess with that woman.
It's almost oppressive the way she steers Will,
Mm-hmm.
but she's his benefactor too.
Yes.
It's like
It's not almost
everything she
oppressive,
makes him.
it's-
Everything
it's
she
ag- it's
makes him
aggressive.
do, everything she makes him do makes his life so much better than he
Yeah,
would have ever imagined
absolutely.
it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
She
scene-
saw his
the
potential,
scene-
that's all.
Well,
Yeah.
even the
scene
first
where
time when
he-
he's walking away from his old girlfriend's house, he's like, "It's like a good dream."
Yes,
Well, the
that's a
scene-
great
the
Oh,
line.
scene
the
where he-
ex-girlfriend, that was great.
Yeah, that was a
the
funny scene
where
too.
he overhears her talking from outside the house.
Yeah.
And she's having the argument with the mom, and she's talking about what a good person he is.
Mhm.
And he finally has that moment of realization of like, oh, this is why she likes me.
Yep. That's a great
Like-
scene. It's a
Mhm.
great scene, and it has one of the best transitions ever because he's listening to that wonderful stuff, Tad, and then suddenly he just gets smacked, and it's the mom. She's come outside with the thing.
That's right.
and
That's right.
it's a perfect time, like cut because
with the coal trowel.
yeah,
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 well,
pretty much.
because it's beautiful filmmaking because Lean didn't want to show us that the woman had come out. You know, it's
Right.
but you have to just go, oh God, she made it out and she's smacked him. It was so perfect.
It's
and
really
then
good.
Maggie, And then Maggie grabs the trowel and throws it in the street, and then just grabs him, and they dip.
Right.
Like,
She's legally minded because she's like, I'll have you up for assault if you
Yeah,
touch
right.
either of
Right.
us.
Yeah.
touch anybody. Do we know if Lean? What did he work in the theater? Or was he an actor? This is his first movie. It's amazing.
felt like-
That's his first film? I didn't even realize that. Wow.
No, wait a minute.
This is a play, so it wouldn't.
It couldn't have been
surprise me.
because the title says, hold on. Yeah, he's David Lean was one of the marquees of the film. Maybe he was it says produced and directed by the award-winning David Lean.
Okay.
Oh,
Maybe it
was
was.
his film.
Maybe he was a player, but I don't think so. I think he's in their stuff.
I'll have to read up on
Yeah,
it.
same
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But it's funny, like we've done a few movies firsts, right? I think I picked like at least half a dozen words. Like you can kind of see that they were working their way toward the thing we all know them for.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see the dude that made Lawrence of Arabia in this. Not
No,
even a little bit.
No,
not even a little bit.
mind you, we're lucky to have a
But you
David
could say
Lean.
the same thing about Kubrick. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you look at his
No,
movies,
no,
and
we
you're
said
like,
the same thing. Like the Killing Kubrick, the difference between the Killing Kubrick and like
Barry Lyndon.
2001 or-
2001.
Barry
Yeah,
Lyndon.
exactly.
Glory.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a Glory is the dude that made fucking Doctor Strange.
Also, we're just happy to have a David Lean film because this film is fairly short. The thing
Well,
is,
there's that.
Yeah.
our informal time limit does not allow things like Ryan's Daughter and like Lawrence of Arabia.
Mhm.
Anything with intermission in it, right?
the only thing I
Yeah.
can think of.
Yeah, but
You know,
all right,
well,
well,
one other thing I was going to say was, as you know, I wasn't familiar with either of these picks before I picked them, so I didn't really know what we were going to get. And had I seen this movie before, you know what I might have put it with?
what?
Working Girl.
I could see that. That's a kind of same theme.
This is his 10th film, by the
Oh,
way.
wow.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But almost all of the ones that he did before this were filmed adaptations of stage plays.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
So,
and
like,
this is
in
as
which-
well. So
That was
In
his
which
rep.
we
He was
serve Great Expectations, Oliver Twist.
so he's a
But-
Kenneth Branagh
Speaking of
his time.
Dickens,
Right. But then he goes on from this to Summertime, Bridge on the River Kwai, and Lawrence of Arabia.
There it is.
So
it's
so
one
what
more
he
movie
gets-
after this, and then he does Bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So what he
Wow.
gets is American money
Mhm.
to
Right.
do the things that
big scope.
Yeah.
Right.
Big-
Uh,
to
there's
do
color
to,
and
to kind
Panavision.
of take these things that he's been working on up until this point
Mhm.
and transform them into that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
Also, he's like goes from like doing like plays to doing war movies, basically.
right.
Yeah. So that's basically it.
It's a pretty big jump to Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
No fooling. Yeah. Anybody think to add? Jim, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Okay.
Big thumbs up. Loved it.
Now me too. Enjoyed it immensely.
I was buying what it was selling from a script and story standpoint, but
Hey, I
thought-
laughed and laughed. This film is funny.
I like
that's
both
all
these
I
movies.
asked.
I like this one even better
Uh-huh.
than the other one.
Liked it.